Why I love spring at Belvoir is because it's like the world's waking up again. Firstly, we start with the snowdrops and they start peeping their heads through. And then the daffodils. The daffodils, they were planted, many of them, for my husband's granny on her wedding day. So they're very old, a hugely historic collection. And I've added about 200,000 daffodils to the planting over the last 10 years. Everywhere there's daffodils. I adore daffs. It always reminds me of times when I've had my children, and spring for me was always the arrival of Alice. So the cherry blossom coming in, that's extraordinary. And the cherry blossom here is the wild cherries that are about 200 years old. And they grow up amongst all the ancient oaks. And I think it's the Japanese garden that is just magnificent when you walk down the back drive. It just hits me every time. I think how lucky I am to live here. There's this really hidden little bit of magic at Belvoir, and it's called the Duchess's garden, and some people call it the spring garden because there's a spring in the garden. It's the grotto in this garden that I adore, standing in and looking out at this majestic view. And as you look down towards the 5th Duchess and her statue, we've actually found a magnolia called Elizabeth. So that's, for me, majestic. So everything, in a way, in the gardens repeats the story of the family in the house. And below that, we've created the Hermit's garden. Now, this is named because there really is a little cottage within this garden where a hermit lived. And again, this was all fallen down. We could hardly see it when we arrived, but it has these extraordinary fossil-like walls. How they made it, goodness only knows. Above, we're putting in a coloured glass, and so you'll have sort of glass and light flickering through, and a bench to sit, and another point of reflection. We found another grotto we've just opened called the Marquess of Granby's Grotto, and that, as we speak, we're still finishing the restoration of. So every little bit of the story of discovery of our gardens, I just love sharing with people.